Do you know about the coronation of Edward I? The coronation of Edward I on August 19, 1274, was a pivotal moment in English history. Following the turbulent reign of his father, Henry III, Edward I ascended to the throne at a time when England was recovering from civil strife and unrest. His reign would usher in significant changes that would shape the medieval kingdom and leave a lasting legacy. Edward's reign was characterized by his efforts to strengthen the monarchy, reform the legal system, and expand English territories. These actions not only stabilized England during his lifetime but also laid the groundwork for the development of the modern English state. Let's explore Edward I's coronation, the early reforms he implemented, his military campaigns, and the long-term impact of his reign on England. Background: England before Edward I. The years leading up to Edward I's coronation were marked by political instability and conflict. Henry III, Edward's father, had a tumultuous reign characterized by his struggles with the English barons. The conflict between the monarchy and the nobility culminated in the Barons' Wars, a series of armed conflicts from 1264 to 1267, which stemmed from widespread dissatisfaction with Henry III's rule. The Provisions of Oxford, a set of reforms imposed by the barons in 1258, sought to limit the king's power and increase the influence of the nobility. However, these provisions only led to further divisions and conflicts within the kingdom. Edward, born in 1239, grew up in this environment of political unrest. He was actively involved in his father's struggles against the rebellious barons. In 1265, Edward played a key role in the Battle of Evesham, where he led the royal forces to victory against the baronial army led by Simon de Montfort. This victory effectively ended the Barons' Wars and restored royal authority. Following this, Edward embarked on a crusade to the Holy Land, where he gained valuable military experience and developed a reputation as a capable leader. Upon his return to England in 1274, he was prepared to take on the mantle of kingship and address the challenges that lay ahead. The coronation of Edward I. Edward I's coronation took place on August 19, 1274, at Westminster Abbey, one of the most significant religious and cultural ceremonies of the medieval period. The coronation was not just a formal event, it was a deeply symbolic ritual that affirmed Edward's divine right to rule and his commitment to his subjects. The ceremony was conducted by the Archbishop of Canterbury, who anointed Edward with holy oil, symbolizing his sacred duty as king. Edward was then crowned with a crown that had been used by previous monarchs, linking him to the continuity of the English monarchy. The coronation ceremony was rich in symbolism, reflecting the medieval understanding of kingship as both a spiritual and temporal role. The rituals emphasized the king's responsibility to govern justly, protect the church, and uphold the law. The public display of the coronation, attended by nobles, clergy, and commoners, served to legitimize Edward's authority and reinforce his position as the rightful ruler of England. The reaction to Edward's coronation was generally positive. After years of civil strife and instability, there was a sense of relief and optimism among the English people and the nobility. Edward was seen as a strong and capable leader, someone who could bring stability to the kingdom and restore the power of the monarchy. His experience in the Barons' Wars and the Crusades had earned him respect and support, which he would leverage to implement his early reforms and policies. Early reforms and policies. One of Edward I's priorities as king was to address the legal and administrative weaknesses that had plagued his father's reign. Recognizing the need for a more effective legal system, Edward introduced a series of reforms aimed at strengthening royal justice and curbing corruption. The Statutes of Westminster, enacted in 1275, were among his most significant legal reforms. These statutes codified existing laws and introduced new regulations designed to ensure the fair administration of justice throughout the kingdom. They addressed issues such as the inheritance of land, the rights of widows, and the protection of tenants from exploitation by landlords. In addition to legal reforms, Edward undertook significant administrative changes to improve the efficiency of royal government. He reorganized the exchequer, the royal treasury, to ensure better financial management and reduce the potential for corruption. He also took steps to centralize royal authority by appointing loyal and capable officials to key positions within the government. These reforms helped to restore public confidence in the monarchy and laid the foundation for a more stable and prosperous kingdom. Edward was also determined to assert his authority over the nobility, who had challenged his father's rule. He took a firm stance against rebellious barons, ensuring that any attempts to undermine royal authority were swiftly dealt with. By doing so, Edward strengthened the power of the monarchy and reasserted the king's role as the ultimate authority in the realm. This consolidation of royal power was a key aspect of Edward's reign and contributed to the long-term stability of England. Military campaigns and territorial expansion. Edward I's reign is also notable for his military campaigns, particularly his efforts to expand English territory. One of his most significant achievements was the conquest of Wales. In 1277, Edward launched a campaign against Llywelyn ap Gruffydd, the Prince of Wales, who had resisted English authority. After a series of military victories, Edward successfully subdued Llywelyn and, in 1284, enacted the Statute of Rhuddlan, which incorporated Wales into the English crown. This conquest not only expanded English territory but also demonstrated Edward's military prowess and his determination to assert English dominance over its neighbours. Edward also turned his attention to Scotland, although his involvement in Scottish affairs would not reach its peak until later in his reign. Initially, Edward sought to assert English overlordship over Scotland through diplomacy and alliances. However, tensions between England and Scotland would eventually lead to the Wars of Scottish Independence, which began in the late 13th century. While Edward did not live to see the outcome of these conflicts, his actions laid the groundwork for the protracted struggle between the two kingdoms. The impact of Edward's military campaigns on England was profound. His conquests and territorial expansions not only enhanced the power and prestige of the English monarchy but also contributed to the sense of a unified English nation. By bringing Wales under English control and exerting influence over Scotland, Edward helped to shape the borders and identity of medieval England. Legacy and long-term impact. Edward I's reign left a lasting legacy on England, particularly in terms of legal and political developments. His legal reforms, especially the Statutes of Westminster, had a long-term impact on the English legal system. These statutes provided a foundation for the common law system that continues to influence English and American law today. Edward's emphasis on the rule of law and the fair administration of justice set important precedents that future monarchs would build upon. Edward's efforts to strengthen the monarchy also had a significant impact on the evolution of the English state. By centralizing royal authority and curbing the power of the nobility, Edward laid the groundwork for a more unified and powerful monarchy. His reign marked a turning point in the relationship between the king and his subjects, with the monarchy emerging as the dominant force in English politics. Furthermore, Edward's military campaigns and territorial expansions had a lasting effect on England's national identity. The incorporation of Wales into the English kingdom and the assertion of English influence over Scotland were key steps in the formation of a united British Isles. Although the process of unification would take centuries to complete, Edward's reign was a crucial period in the development of the English nation. Therefore, the coronation of Edward I in 1274 marked the beginning of a transformative period in English history. Through his legal reforms, administrative changes, and military campaigns, Edward strengthened the monarchy, expanded English territory, and laid the foundations for the modern English state. His reign had a lasting impact on the development of English law, politics, and national identity. Edward I's legacy endures as one of the most influential monarchs in English history, a king whose actions helped shape the course of the nation for centuries to come. Thanks for listening. Like and comment. And please subscribe, as that will help us get more videos out to those interested in the Middle Ages. See you next time on Medieval Chronicles 1066. Stay curious.